Israel-Hamas tensions high as Gaza militants launch more flaming balloons. Violence threatens to engulf the new Israeli government and spark another conflict. Tel Aviv, Palestinian militants in Gaza launched more flaming balloons into Israel on Wednesday, as a new round of violence between Israel and Hamas entered a second day and threatened to trigger another conflict. Little-known militant groups in Gaza claimed responsibility for the arson attacks, which ignited 4 fires in agricultural zones in southern Israel, according to Israel's Fire and Rescue Authority. The arson attacks came after Israeli jets struck what Israel said were Hamas military compounds early Wednesday, in response to flaming balloons Hamas sent into the country's south a day earlier. The balloons started at least 20 wildfires. Hamas said it launched those balloons as a pre-emptive warning to Israel for allowing a nationalist flag march through the contested city of Jerusalem on Tuesday. Israeli police fired rubber bullets at Palestinians trying to disrupt a right-wing nationalist march in Jerusalem, while Hamas militants launched incendiary balloons into Israel that triggered Israeli airstrikes in the Gaza Strip, raising the specter of renewed violence in the region. The Israeli military said it carried out a limited series of airstrikes on the militant group's compounds across the Gaza Strip, marking the first time the rival forces have traded blows since the two sides agreed to a May 21 truce that brought an end to an 11-day conflict. The surge of violence poses an early test for Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett and his 2-day-old coalition government, which must figure out how to prevent renewed tensions from escalating. The Israeli strikes in Gaza appeared to cause no deaths or injuries. But the Israeli military warned that it was prepared for any scenario, including a resumption of hostilities, in the face of continuing terror activities from the Gaza Strip. More than 250 people in Gaza and 13 people in Israel were killed during last month's conflict. Earlier Tuesday in Jerusalem, mostly young Israelis, some chanting "Death to Arabs," marched to the main entrance to the old city's Muslim quarter. There a few thousand dancing demonstrators had gathered to celebrate Israel's contested control of East Jerusalem. An Israeli military spokesman said Israel holds Hamas, which rules Gaza, responsible for all events happening in the Palestinian territory. The Israeli military is prepared for any scenario, including a resumption of hostilities, the spokesman said. The violence illustrates a dangerous new dynamic in the decades-long conflict between Israel and Hamas, one that threatens to engulf the new Israeli government sworn in just days ago. How the new Prime Minister, Naftali Bennett, handles the situation could affect the government's broad coalition, which includes for the first time in Israel's history an independent Arab party. The government is already under pressure by opposition lawmakers from former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's Likud party to respond with more force.